Welcome to part 1 of the Chair and Treasurer training. Thank you for joining part 1 of the Chair and Treasurer training. Today will be a brief introduction to your role and will start you thinking about how you might operate. Throughout this session, there will be some questions for you to answer. During the summer, you will receive access to the Moodle training, which is mandatory, and then in October, you will receive information about the final part of your training. After today, you will know how to contact the SU Finance team, the key elements to your role, how best to work with your committee, and how and when you will be able to access the online finance training. You can find the finance team on level 2 of the Edge. The finance team are available between 10 AM and 4 PM Monday to Friday. Just pop in and ring the bell. You'll also find the societies, sports, volunteering and fundraising teams on level 2 of the Edge. For media, you will find the marketing team in Norwood House. Student Minds will find advice in the One East Corridor, Norwood House, and the diversity and support groups will find the Voice team also in the One East Corridor. This slide will give you an overview of who to go for what, as sometimes there is some confusion about this. The finance team process all supplier and customer invoices once they have been approved and coded by the correct signatory. The finance team make back payments twice weekly, currently on a Tuesday and Thursday, once invoices have been approved. We also process and pay expense claims then once they have been approved. Remember, finance can't approve your invoices. You can make an appointment to use the SU credit card and Amazon via finance. You can transfer to other groups. If you do an event in conjunction with another group, for example, Film Soc and Sci-Fi Soc doing a joint cinema visit, the easiest way to organise payments may be for one group to pay all expenses and the other to transfer money to them afterwards. Once this has been approved, then finance will process this for you. Card machines are available to use for your events. Include this in your event planner and send an email to sufinance@bath.ac.uk in advance so you can complete a request form. We can then be in touch to arrange collection. There are a few things that might be money related but aren't actually processed by the finance team. For example, budgets and rollover. Sports budgets are allocated by the sports officer and they will notify you at the beginning of the year. Societies have a central budget you can bid for through the societies team. Online products. They need to be sent through to your department and they will be put the products up for you online. Extra funding. For extra funding, contact the relevant student officer for information. Event planners. You should contact the sports or societies teams in the Edge for help and submission. And sponsorship. Your first point of contact for all sponsorship is the marketing team. It's important to remember that it is both the chair and treasurer's responsibility to manage the club or society's finances. You should be aware of all income and expenditure within your club. The Connect 365 app is live, and once information is put into our finance system, this will update with the app. You'll be able to see your opening balance as well as any income and expenditure. If you need more detailed breakdown of your ledger, then pop along to the finance office and we can get this for you. While the app is really useful, it's a good idea to keep your own record of income and expenditure. This will avoid any overspending and will flag any irregularities with the SU Finance promptly. Remember to check the outgoing committee if your account is in a deficit, as you may be inheriting a debt. Also make sure you check your opening balances in September on the app. So if it's not what you're expecting, you can flag this with finance. Remember, one of you must sign off on all invoices. These are then passed to the exec treasurers for final sign-off. Please send them to the exec treasurers rather than to finance, as we are unable to sign off on invoices. You might have other committee members ordering and organising things, for example, kit secretaries or social secretaries, but they have no authority to sign off on events or spend. Event planners and online products, both the chair and treasurer should be kept in the loop by your social secs on any planned expenditure, in particular the big spends. For event planners, there is specific training on this, but I just want to reiterate the importance of completing these in advance of the event and before committing to any spend. Remember, social secs can't sign off on them, and students are unable to sign contracts. This needs to be done by an SU member of staff. We ask for at least 6 weeks' notice to sign off on event planners, so get them in early to ensure your event can go ahead. This slide shows you the authorization limits of signatories. As you can see, as chair or treasurer, you need to sign off on invoices at every level. However, for invoices of a higher value, you are likely to require additional signatories. You need to factor this in as it may take longer to sign things off. While many aspects of the chair and treasurer role are the same for clubs and societies, there is one main difference, and this is that clubs get allocated a budget and societies don't. As a sports club, you will need to submit a budget request form for the year. You need to review last year's budget, think about what you want this year, don't just cut and paste. The sports officer, who will be Angus next year, will let you know what you have been awarded. It is possible to make requests throughout the year, but you're not always guaranteed to get it, so it's really important to get your budget right. And also remember, budget fund is restricted and it cannot be used on socials. Societies aren't given a budget, but you can request funds from the society's membership fund throughout the year. Both clubs and societies can raise funds through events, and this money is not restricted. We will cover income streams in a little more detail shortly. I will now run through some key things for you to think about at various points in the year. You are enrolled from the 1st of August, and so it's really important that you have a good handover with the outgoing chair and treasurer. You can then start to plan for the year ahead. Start thinking about any events you might want to hold. Check your rollover. It might be a negative one. Over the summer, complete the handover with last year's chair. If you're a sports club, this is the key time to think about your budget for next year. What are your priorities? What was requested and spent this year? And societies, check your rollover. In September, sports clubs, once you've been given your budget, check it against your plans. Think about what is still possible. Societies, start thinking about what you might want to do throughout the year and if you need to apply to the SMF. In semester 1 as chair, your main role is to oversee the running of the club and help committee members with their roles and tasks, including paying for things. Only you and your treasurer can sign off on all payments and SU forms, for example, product request forms for Christmas meal tickets. With regards to Christmas meals, as chair, you need to have an overview of the large socials you might be planning. While you might have a social secretary, remember they can't sign anything off. Get event planners in well ahead of the event to ensure it can go ahead. Liaise with the societies and sports teams if you need any help with these. As we head into semester 2, keep on top of expense claims by checking them regularly and either authorising or rejecting them. Remember, invoices need to be signed off by execs as well, so make sure you allow time for this. Monitor your balances. And as we head to the end of semester 2, you might be starting to think about your end of year social. If you're planning an end of year ball, please ensure your event planner is submitted in advance to ensure the event can go ahead. Think about costs, the venue, how many people are likely to attend. Events can't go ahead until planners are approved. There are a couple of different ways in which societies and sports clubs can access funds. If you're a sports club, then you can apply for budget. Remember, as I said, budget can't be used for socials. You can also have access to the Alumni Fund if you're considering funding for a particular project or a piece of equipment. If you're a society, then you don't get given a budget, but you can apply to the Society Membership Fund. Your application will be considered, and if agreed, the funds will be transferred across to your society. You are also able to apply for alumni funding for projects and equipment. We use an expense app called Connect 365. This is a platform to enable you to claim and process any small expense claims for your club or society. You are also able to keep track of any income and expenditure that has been processed in the account system. The app is compatible with iOS, Android, tablets and web browsers. Just follow the link within the QR code and you can decide how you'd like to download it. Your login is your bath.ac.uk email address. The new app is user-friendly and has features such as the ability to scan and read receipts and automatically add maps for any mileage claims. You can use Connect 365 to keep track of your clubs and society spend. The brought forward rollover will be at the top, and then in list form it'll be any income and expenditure. It's important to remember that the expenses app is for small claims only. We request that claims are under £250. You must always attach a receipt. The exception is mileage, where you can use Google Maps to calculate your claim. Please always be clear in your description. Often claims are rejected as the reason for the spend is not clear. You must never claim on behalf of other people. People must always submit their own expenses. Remember, bucks can't go through the app. This will need to go through sports on a yellow form. You can't claim for alcohol. The app is a really useful tool for small expenses, but do remember that backed payments with an invoice is always our preferred method of payment. If this is not possible, then you can utilise the SU credit card, and we also have an Amazon account that you can use. This timeline gives you some key dates over the next 7 months. In April, you'll complete this part of the finance training. In June, the online training, part 2, will be available to all chairs and treasurers. This needs to be completed by the 28th of July. During July, make sure you download the expenses app. August is the new financial year, and this is when your role starts. Make sure you have completed a single sign-on on our website so we can allocate your role to the app. And in October, the final part of the training will take place. Remember, all 3 parts of the finance training is mandatory, and you may have restrictions placed on your club, such as event planners not being signed off, if you don't complete them. These are some common questions we often get asked, and the answers will give you an example of who you need to speak to find out. I have a question about the budget I have been allocated. Who do I speak to? For this, you need to go and speak to the sports officer or sports team, as finance can't answer this. We're a society and we don't have a rollover. How do we get any money? You need to apply to the Society Membership Fund. Speak to the Society's team to find out how. We want to plan a large event. Where do we start? You will need to complete an event planner, but in the first instance, I would recommend speaking to either the sports or societies team, as they will be able to offer you advice and recommendations. We have a Christmas meal planned. How is best to pay for this? There are several different ways of paying. I would suggest coming in and having a chat with the finance team. We can see if we used them before, how we paid them last time, and if you need to pay a deposit. And do you need to put up an online product? When can I come and use the SU credit card? The finance team are available Monday to Friday, 10 AM to 4 PM. You will need to use a link, which you will find on the next page of this training slide and also on our auto response. I am part of the Diversity and Support Group. How do I get funding? Your groups are allocated central funding, so you need to speak to your relevant SU area, which in this instance is the Voice team. This also applies to Media and Student Minds. Media would speak to marketing and Student Minds would speak to advice. If you've got a question at all after today's training, then please feel free to email us on sufinance@bath.ac.uk. You could also pop into our offices and ask us. Below is the link for the booking form for the credit card and Amazon. Thank you for attending today's training.